Welcome to the Reddit Chronicles. Today we will be reading from Malicious Compliance. Our first post is by Gopher. The old bait and switch. One upon a time I, like many people after the new year, joined Planet Fitness with my girlfriend, now wife. We did not go to the gym, and this continued now that we had a gym membership. After a year or so had gone by of not going to the gym, we decided to go in one day just for something to do. They wouldn't let us in due to the card that we used for my wife's membership had expired, and our account was due over $100. They agreed that we could go in as long as we got it under $100. We paid the remaining amount and canceled her membership, switching mine to a premium membership so that we could both get on using mine. After probably another year of them collecting my money for little in return, I joined the Army as a way to escape the ever-rising cost of family health insurance. I thought, this is great. Now I have a reason to work out, and I'll use my Planet Fitness premium membership that lets me use any of their gyms around the country. However, upon moving to our first duty station, I found that I worked out every morning with a group of people outside too. There are several gyms on base, usually nicer than a Planet Fitness, so I went to cancel my membership. Here's where they really pissed me off. Oh, you have to cancel in person at your home gym, or by writing a cancellation letter via first-class mail to your home gym. The problem being that my home gym was over 700 miles away, and I didn't want to wait long enough for them to get the letter and process it. I left and began my Planet Fitness contract research. Armed with knowledge, I returned to the closest store the next day. Good morning, sir. Oh, good morning. Can you help me out? I don't necessarily want to pay for the black membership anymore, but my home gym is in Ohio. Can I change my home gym to this location? Of course, sir. I'd be happy to assist you. Once all the exchanging of information had been completed, I dropped the bomb. Is there anything else I can help you with? Yes, actually. Since this is my home gym now, I'd like to go ahead and cancel my membership. Her jaw actually dropped. She called a manager to give the overrides or whatever he needed to do. He got the whole story, looked at me, and said that I would have to wait 24 hours since I just changed my home gym. I obliged his request and came back the next day. I'm happy to say that it's been almost 5 years since my last gym membership. Our next post is by Eden MG. Force me into the military. I'll have a year of free time instead. This isn't my story but my father's, so I don't know all the details, but I still thought it'd be fun to share here. My father was one of the last conscript soldiers in the country before the conscription was canceled completely. During this time, there was lots of unemployment, and only 1 in 20 men still had to go in the Army. My father was one of the few people that actually had a job, but he was also the unlucky man that had to quit because he had to go to basic training. He was really pissed off because he lost his job but still wanted to make the best of it. That was until he realized that he had to work in the most useless place you can imagine. I don't remember the name of the place, but it was on the other side of the country, and the whole reputation of that place was that only the useless men were there. That's when my father decided that he wouldn't spend his time in a place surrounded by demotivated hippies, and he wanted to get transferred, or to just go anywhere that wasn't there. He went to his supervisor and basically made up a story of how he's mentally unfit to serve. He used anything he'd ever experienced so his supervisor would let him get out, and it worked. My father then got sent to a city only an hour away from his hometown, and his only job each day was to secure an abandoned building. He had to call headquarters at 8 in the morning and call again at 6 p.m. so they knew that he was there. What did he do in between those times? He freely explored the city, listened to music while chilling out in the building, made new friends, and basically had a vacation for a year straight. His reasoning behind it all is that if the government forces him to serve in a useless army, he'll do the bare minimum himself. He called twice a day, which was all they asked him to do, so whatever he did in the meantime was all up to him. Our next post is by Troikos. Fake vegetarian on flight. Okay, so just to preface this, I'm a cabin crew member, flight attendant. I've been doing it for over 10 years. Any issues that crop up during my workday, I will bend over backwards to accommodate people if I can. However, there are unfortunately a handful of people who are dishonest to try and get what they want. Fake injuries to try and get upgraded, fake birthdays, you name it. People have tried it, and believe me, I've had loads of scenarios where people try to cheat the system because it makes them feel special or that they have one-upped me, I guess. Let me tell you about a fake vegetarian I had on board. He was flying in economy coach in the second from last row. He wanted the pasta option. I apologized and told him due to popular demand we had ran out in the middle of the cabin, but we had the chicken option instead if he wanted that. Without skipping a beat, he said, "I'm a vegetarian. Last time they brought me a meal from business class, so I will just wait for that." Now, this is something I would have offered anyway as a nicety, if available, as I'm not too much of a dick and I genuinely like helping people out if I can. After all, it's a 747, not a 7-Eleven, as the saying goes. Anyway, the way he just expected it right off the bat before I could even offer a solution left a slightly bad taste in my mouth. And also I smelled a rat. I was 99% sure that I had cleared in an empty packet of smoky bacon crisps from him earlier on. And no, they weren't a veggie brand, as I have the same ones occasionally. I was certain that he was being picky and wanted a higher quality meal. Plus, any regular flyer would know how often we run out of the veggie option and to pre-order a veggie meal. I said, "It's unfortunate that you didn't pre-order a vegetarian meal. I will see what I can do for you though. Just give me 5 minutes to finish up here." Anyway, I went up to business class. They had also ran out of the veggie option. So I went up to first class and asked if they could spare anything. We ended up putting a few leaves together with a bit of dressing. They spend thousands of pounds more up there and can dine at any time, so they didn't want me taking any of the hot veggie options in case someone wanted it later. Fair enough. Then I thought I could probably have some fun with this fake vegetarian. Cue malicious compliance. I brought it back down on a silver tray and held it above his eye line so he couldn't see what it was. I explained that unfortunately, the vegetarian business class option had run out. Then he went to cut me off so he could complain, but I held up my hand and said, "However, I managed to go one step further, and I got the last vegetarian meal from first class. Then I pulled the linen cloth off the top of the tray as I placed the salad down in front of him. It really was a very basic but large salad, and his face said it all. His face went from a smug, "Ha ha, I worked the system," to "WTF is that?" within 2 to 3 seconds flat. He then said, "I wanted something hot. I'll just have the chicken then." I put on a shocked face and said, "I cannot give you that, sir. I would feel awful." He responded with, "Don't worry about it, it's fine." I gave him an "Are you sure you're vegetarian?" look and brought back the chicken, by which point it had been sat drying up in the oven a little bit longer. Bon appetit. Just to say, even if he was a real vegetarian, he should have pre-ordered. Same goes for gluten-free, vegan, children's meal, diabetic, etc. Anyway, that's my story. Sorry if I rambled a bit. Electronic World writes in the comments, "I love it. I am vegetarian and I always pre-order. And even with pre-ordering, some flights run out of vegetarian options. I've never been offered anything more than a bag of chips as a sorry for that. You are a great cabin crew member for doing that for the vegetarians, and I loved this malicious compliance." Thank you for listening to the Reddit Chronicles. Follow for more content.